How many of you are fans of Destiny? Maybe Marathon when it comes out. The news with Bungie is intense and it's insane. I also want to talk about this new studio that apparently Blizzard and Xbox are making, man. What's going on, you guys? Gaming out here coming at you another video. Today we're talking about a variety of stuff. Probably the most we're going to talk about is Bungie. We're also going to talk about the studio that Jess Corden's covering, and I think that's an interesting concept. But let's get straight into it, man. You guys know the amount of stuff going on right now with PlayStation and Bungie is just absurd. You know, we went from potentially a hostile takeover to now it's looking like Bungie overpromised on expectations that they could never meet. Let's take a step back. Let's go over some of the history when it comes to this PlayStation and Bungie acquisition. A lot of people, including myself, thought it was a reaction to Microsoft announcing that they are starting the process of buying ABK. Because not too long after that, they took the initiative to buy Bungie. Keep in mind, they bought Bungie relatively fast. And it was for like $2.5 billion, or it might have been in the threes. Some of the comment section, it's been so long I can't remember exactly how much was actually put into that. So it's coming out that a lot of ex-Bungie employees, that's what I said, ex-Bungie employees believe that the Bungie leadership overstated the studio's financial prospects to Sony. I think Sony overpaid for Bungie. I think Bungie sold things that they were just not able to deliver. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, that means that they're like, yo, things are popping over here. We got Destiny 3 going out. We got all these side projects going out. You know, there's like the Care Bears thing that was supposed to be like a hero. Some League of Legends stuff. I don't know exactly the details on that one. You got Matter that they were working on. And then you got a variety of games that they really wanted to put out there. And I feel like that was maybe what they promised PlayStation. Now, keep in mind, at this time, PlayStation was trying to push out more games as a service. Now, what does that mean? That means that they were really trying to, get more of that monthly revenue in there consistently. I feel like Jim Ryan pushed this to the point where it couldn't be pushed back anymore. I think if you have some of these studios working on games as a service for a few years, how do you realistically expect these studios to just go back to what they were doing and get games out in a timely manner? You don't. So you push some of these developers about getting a game out that they would normally make, like a Ghost of Tsushima 2, maybe a Last of Us 3, or a new IP in general from Naughty Dog. You push these titles back years because they were working on other stuff that more in the games as a service avenue. So that was one of the issues that was going on there. Do I think they overpaid for them? Absolutely. I actually feel like a lot of this is Bungie's fault because they did overpromise, and then when you're taking so much money out of the person that's actually feeding you from month to month, and that's the Destiny consumer, you're taking the support away from that game, and you're no longer keeping up the amount of content you need for Destiny. What did you expect? They try to expand way too fast, and they might have just crippled their whole studio trying to do it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, what does that mean for Destiny? Not good, because it's actually been told and rumored, and I do think this is confirmed at this point, is that Bungie's vets, Luke and Mark Noseworthy, were let go in the recent layoffs. That was according to Jeff Grubb. As of right now, Luke Smith has deleted all of his tweets. Now, apparently, he's done this in the past, so we can't really go too much into this. It's the individual on the left right here. He's done this into the past, so maybe this is just standard for him. I don't think he's openly came out and admitted that he has left the company. Now, I think that when it comes down to it, Jeff Grubb and a couple other people did pretty much state that he is gone. And it wasn't necessarily due to the layoffs. It was the corporate restructuring from PlayStation. Essentially what's going on right now is PlayStation is just walking in the room and saying, you ours now. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want to try to blame this on PlayStation. To some degree, maybe they set them up to fail on some areas. I don't know. But one thing I will say is when you make these expectations, allegedly, and you don't meet any of them, what did you expect them to do? You know, I don't know what they're going to do at Bungie. Maybe they are regretting, hopefully, what's going on, because Destiny's sales was not doing that great. You know, if we pop over here to this other one, it says the sales for each expansion declined year over year, including June's final shape. So they would be moving away from an annual release model. That's according to Jason Schreier. Essentially, you kept feeding the same dish to the consumer over and over again. Now, we're not going to sit here and say Final Shape wasn't amazing. It was. But when you get someone like Lightfall, and it's that much of a hindrance, I know personal people myself that love Destiny that stepped away after that expansion. When you treat your consumer like secondhand citizens, they're eventually going to walk away. I truly believe that Bungie went into this deal with PlayStation. This is just my speculation. They set themselves up with these unrealistic expectations. Maybe they weren't unrealistic at the time because they generally felt like the Destiny community would never abandon them. But throughout the years, I will say, slowly but surely, people have just gotten tired of the same type of activities in Destiny. Got tired of them recycling the same enemies in Destiny. Got tired of them recycling the same locations in Destiny. And sooner or later, they did start leaving. Now, let's talk about Destiny 3. Because there was giant rumors going around that there was a D3 in development somewhere. And it was named Project Playback. Well, I got some bad news for you. New details about the Payback project from Jason Schreier. It was set in the Destiny universe. It was a pivot from first person to third person perspective, which is interesting. I'm kind of curious if they pitched that to PlayStation as one of the things that made them more appealing to be bought by PlayStation, because they know a lot of their audience loves that, you know, that third person perspective. So maybe this game might have been an exclusive if it went through. I don't know. Players were allowed to use franchise characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters, solve puzzles. It was canceled 2 months ago. I don't know what that means. I couldn't even begin to tell you guys what that means. I personally think that PlayStation finally saw how bad this was, and they knew they had to get in it in some way. They knew they had to get some of the money back that they put into it, because I do think it's bad. I think it's really bad, and I think if Marathon isn't successful, they might just be a glorified support studio or shut down entirely in the future. I hope that don't happen, because I really enjoy them, and part of me really wants PlayStation to reconsider Destiny. You know, let them come back in a few years with a Destiny 3. Don't just like shut them down if Marathon isn't successful. Now, I understand you can make the argument, but the majority of the good talent has left Bungie at this point. And if they haven't left Bungie yet, they're considering leaving Bungie for the way they've been treated, and that's fair. So on to Xbox news, man. You know, we got some bad news for PlayStation with the way Bungie's being handled. But then we got some decent news over here on Clobro. Jez Corden reported on Windows Central that Microsoft and Activision have formed a new smaller team within Blizzard, comprised of King and various other employees to work on AA games based on existing Blizzard franchises like Overwatch, Warcraft, StarCraft, and beyond. So pretty much they want to work on side projects with popular IPs that's in this. I would say Banjo-Kazooie's probably in one of these. I'm hoping Banjo's being worked on another studio, because I would like to that have been in development for a while. I know that Microsoft's making like a big push for a lot more bigger titles and less smaller ones, which is kind of contradicting to like what they said Game Pass was about, but that was years ago. What's interesting about this is I wonder if this is a direct feedback from the way we've been handling the criticism, because there's been a lot of criticism. You know, you can argue that this studio is Toys for Bob. And, you know, what a Tango Game Studios, like the studios they've been getting rid of do this. So hopefully they'll pick up some of the talent that was at those studios and put them all to one studio. For one, I definitely want a solid experience. I would love a solid experience in AA games, because I feel like AAA games take so long to make. You need those quick 2 to 3 year turnarounds, and you need a few of them. Now, they still have some smaller studios. I would say Undead Labs is one of them. Compulsion Games is one of them. But I would say they have gotten rid of a few of those smaller titles. And to me, you look at something like Hi-Fi Rush, when Tango Works was shut down and Hi-Fi Rush was success, the last one before that, it's just a little discouraging to see, okay, they had these studios. But I'm hoping that we get like a StarCraft or something in these IPs, something that makes them worthwhile. I love that Microsoft is essentially taking feedback. They understood, look, we know you guys want smaller IPs, smaller titles, even though these probably won't make the most money. We're willing to entertain that and fund a couple of them. And my hat's off to them. But it's like I said, my minor criticism would be on something like this is like, you had a few of these studios, but I understand corporate moves 1,000 miles a second, and things are always changing. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys feel. Do you feel Bungie's going to stick around for the foreseeable future? What do you guys want to see this studio from Xbox make? I'm very curious to hear that. I would probably say when it comes to the Bungie thing, I think they'll be fine in the long term of things, because I don't think PlayStation's just initially going to shut them down. I do think they're going to give them a little bit of time, and I do think if Marathon is even remotely successful, they'll hang on to that. And if it's not, part of me feels like PlayStation will allow them to try something with Destiny again. But then I don't know. You know, when it comes to this new Xbox studio, I just want solid, smaller IPs or smaller games, and they're good, quality. You know, you don't have to be a massive game to have quality. You could be smaller IPs with quality. We've seen that with Hi-Fi Rush, Psychonauts 2. They can do that, and I want to see more of it. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always sub to the channel for weekly content. We make content just about every day around here on the weekdays. Yes, we're getting back into it. I know I took a couple months off. I went through a breakup, guys, and I had to wear my My Hero shirt because the manga just ended. So, yeah, I had to wear that just for the culture, man. But I appreciate you for coming through here. Definitely follow me on Twitter at Lord Addict ILP. And you can always go to my streaming channel, Addict Arena. All that's in the description below. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. Man, this is crazy.